everyone. Thanks for watching my video. This is Mario with Blue Oak Bushcraft, and today I'm going to go over how to dress functionally and in a budget-friendly manner for sub-zero temperatures where you might be either camping or you're working outside. Kind of a dual-purpose clothing system. I'm really excited about this video. It's something like I'm particularly passionate about. Particularly the budget-friendly part of this. I believe anyone can afford this style of clothing system if they wanted to. So yeah, we're gonna get started. Stay tuned. So first things first, we're gonna break down our undergarments and our base layer. And for me, it's very simple. I'm gonna start with a merino wool long john. Any brand will do. I have the -33. These were a little expensive. It's like $75. I've had them for like at least 10 years though, and they got some holes in them. Not by any fault of the company, more just me beating them up over time, but they still work great. When I say budget friendly, doesn't necessarily mean everything's going to be super cheap. It just means that everything is going to be really high quality in comparison to the price you're paying for it. So, you know, when you break it down, if these were $80, I've had them for over 10 years, I believe. It's about $8 a year for, you know, one of the highest quality pieces of clothing I have. So in my opinion, that's budget friendly, functional, and smart. So I'm gonna start with some sort of wool long john. Then I'm gonna pair it with, because I don't wanna have to buy more than one of these, I found that they have at Cabela's, they're called wader socks. And now these socks are really tall. For me, they almost go up to my mid-thigh, and they're 100% wool. They're extremely thick, very nice, high quality, soft. I'll put these over top of my long johns, and it basically serves as a secondary thick long john. And again, this video is about extreme cold, sub-zero, 55 below zero. That's actually an exact temperature I've taken this out in, 55, 60 below zero. So I do know for sure this works, and I love this setup. Even if I was gonna not do the rest of this is a setup I wear pretty frequently if the temperature is under freezing. So yeah, I put these socks on top of my wool thermal, and it also helps negate some of the holes that they have in them. So this is gonna keep me plenty warm as a base layer. It's gonna stay nice and dry, and even if it does get a little wet, it dries out quickly, and it stays warm even when wet. So now that we got our legs taken care of, we're moving on to our top layer. And for that, real simple. I just have two thinner, but still, I would say lightweight, maybe not thin, 100% wool sweaters. Merino wool is what I like to have against my skin. It's a little softer. I got these at Goodwill. I think this one was like $5 and this one was about $6. This one's from Banana Republic. This one is Faria, if that's how I'm pronouncing that right. I'm not exactly sure. But these two in conjunction with each other, or singularly, but I usually wear them in conjunction if it's extreme cold, are extremely warm. Very soft, very nice, no issues. Again, budget friendly. This only cost me about $11, you know, and the thermals cost me $80. So if I was to get a thermal shirt, and that's only one, it would cost me $80. And now I have two things that are thicker than the thermal for $10. So that's budget friendly, and that's smart because it's the same quality ingredient. It's 100% merino wool. But again, I like them kind of loose. I get an extra large usually. Maybe in this one, I'll sometimes wear a large if I want something a little tighter to my skin. But this one's an XL too, because I do tend to like looser clothes personally, because it's about creating dead air layers, which your body then heats up. It's not necessarily about packing your skin down so you're not, you don't have any air. But yeah, so I have a green and black, real simple colors. Everything you're gonna see here is, again, real simple, either earth tones or black. So you could take these out hunting, no problem, especially when you get towards the end here. with that canvas oversuit. But yeah, so now that we got our base layer down, we're gonna move on to what I call the main layer of clothes. All right, we got our base layer on. It's time to get our main layer on. And for that, I wear one pair of wool pants. These are a little dirty. As you can see, I gotta wash these. I've been wearing them pretty frequently now. Brand here is gonna be, these are the Ibex. I couldn't tell you much more about them than this. I got them at a resale shop for like 12 bucks, 10 bucks. From what I've heard, that these are very expensive pants though. They retail around $100, which would make sense given the price range of most wool pants that I know of. But again, budget friendly, high quality. I've had these for about 5 years, no issues. It's real simple, just 100% wool. It's a medium thickness. It's not super thick, but it's nice and warm. I wear these over top of my sock thermal combo. They'll do just fine. They can handle the mud and the wetness pretty well, even without something over top of them. Yeah, I have no complaints about these pants. They're very nice. I'll put these over top of those thermals, and that almost takes care of my legs completely before I put my boots on, and I will have no complaints even in the coldest of temperatures. So we're gonna set these down to the side here. And now over top of that, I'm gonna take this off for a second and I'll show you this first. I'll get a thick 100% wool sweater. This one is a Gap sweater. I got it at Goodwill for I think $5 or $6, but it's extremely thick. It's probably a little thicker than the pants and at least double the thickness of my two lighter merino wool sweaters that go underneath of this. Nice dark earth tone. You can wear this by itself obviously or in conjunction with this system. Works really well. It's a nice thick knit, no holes, stretches out nice and kind of packs down all those smaller layers you're wearing already to help build that dead air space. So I'll put on that sweater. That'll go on after my wool pants, and then after that I tend not to want to put any more sweaters on after that because sleeve room, I start to get suffocated. I feel like I can't move my arms properly, and when I go to put my overcoat on, it's very uncomfortable. It's very tight. I don't like it. I like to have room to move, especially when I'm either working or if I'm hiking and if I'm on the move in the outdoors. So my system for that is, and this is a Pendleton, I have a 100% lamb's wool vest, and it's just a nice darkish tan earth tone, but it's got hemmed no sleeves, basically, I guess I should say, and it's very thick. It's an extra large. It fits on top of this sweater perfectly and gives me more dead air space on my core, gives me more warmth, and keeping my internal organs warm, which is really your main goal, is to keep your internal organs, your heart, lungs, stomach, intestines warm. Works just fine for that. And yeah, I got this for I think like $5 or $6. Really just a super cheap price, especially a Pendleton. You know, they retail for $200-300 sometimes. So that is going to make up my main layer of clothes, I guess, if you want to call it that. And finally, I'm going to start moving on here to my overcoat, or my top layer, as I like to call it. Apologize, I got distracted at the end of that last video. There's a big truck coming down the road making a bunch of noise, caught my attention. Yeah, so now we move on to my overcoat layers, as I call them. And for that, it's going to be real simple. Again, budget friendly. This is a pair of Wrangler. It's the Rig Workwear. I don't know if it's a line or if it's just a style, but basically all it is it's a cotton pant. It's got some sort of wax treatment on it, or some sort of it's probably not an oil skin. It feels like an oil skin, but I think it's more of just some sort of windproof protectorant that also doubles as a waterproof. I couldn't tell you the exact way that they do it though. All I know is that these cut the wind. They're tough, they shed water. I've ran through thorns and thickets and things like that in these pants, and they've never had any issues. I even poked 2 holes in here one time probably like at least a year ago, and the holes haven't expanded, haven't gotten any bigger under any use. So I really like these pants, and these are going to go over top of my Ibex wool pants. So I get these naturally in a much bigger size. Like I'm a 32 waist, and these are a 30. These are a 36, and they run a little big. So it fits over top of everything real nice, a little baggy. So I'm free to move around, and I love these pants. It's got the 2 snapping cargo pockets, thick inseams. Yeah, I love these pants. These are awesome. I wear these over top, and again, the reason for that is 1, water. I don't want water getting my wool wet, even though it will stay warm. 2 is wind. In the Midwest, where I am, generally it does not get 50, 60 below zero, even 30 or 40 below zero without very, very heavy wind. It's possible, but it's not likely. And the wind here can be pretty brutal. Last night we had wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour out of nowhere. So you always want to be prepared for the wind where I am. So this is an essential piece, this canvas overcoat layer. So once I got those on, I'll move on to my top layer, and that is just real simple. It's pretty much the same type of that oilskin waxed treatment on a canvas brown. This is the Redhead Ranch line. Simple button up. I get it in a double XL, so it fits over the several sweaters that I'm wearing. It's nice and warm, sheds water, breaks wind, does the exact same thing my pants are meant to do, and that's just to provide a windproof, waterproof layer, so my wool layers are busy keeping me warm, staying dry. So I like this a lot. Doesn't really doesn't tear, poke holes in thickets or brambles or anything like that. So I really enjoy this overcoat, and this isn't too expensive. This is about $50. These pants are about 30 to 40 depending on where you get them. So again, maybe not cheap, but budget friendly, because they last a very long time. These 2 pairs that I have out here right now are fairly new, but I have pairs that are 6, 7 years old. So in my opinion, what you're getting for the cost there is well worth it and very useful. So before I move into hats and gloves and things of that nature, I got some slugs on my boot. My footwear choice in extreme cold, I'm going to go with one boot. It's the Muck Arctic Pro. In my opinion, it is the absolute, hands down, best boot you can get for cold weather. And frankly, in my opinion, Mucks are probably the best boot made for either workwear or the outdoors. Waterproof, neoprene, thick, very, very thick rubber soles. I've stepped on nails and stuff in this before, and it hasn't punctured through. They're warm. I believe these go down to, I think they're rated to like 60 below zero or something crazy like that. I haven't tested it at anything below that. 55 below zero is the coldest I've gone, but for snow, wet, ice, this is the boot that you want, in my opinion. I've kicked through ice in these boots hundreds of times. They've never torn. I've never had them leak on me, never had them get wet on the inside. The only downside to this boot is that they are so warm that if it's anything but extreme cold, they're probably going to heat you out pretty quickly, especially if you're wearing a thick sock. So keep in mind, when you're wearing these boots, it needs to be very cold. All right, so now we're going to move on to hats, gloves, and neckwear. All right, so to finish up, it's nothing crazy. We're just going to do hats, neckwear, and my glove system. So to start with the gloves, it's going to be a simple 100% wool finger glove, 100% wool mitten on top. This is the shooter's mitten. And then a canvas-backed leather palm shooter's glove over top. And that follows my same system here of a thinner wool layer, a thicker wool layer, and some sort of canvas or leather overcoat, even though obviously it's a glove, to break wind, prevent damage, and waterproof. This whole system, each of these gloves cost me $5, so $15 for my whole glove system. And again, you can break this down and use it all year long. So it's just, in my opinion, the best possible system. And if you're camping or if you're working hard, if you're sweating, you can swap layers in and out, take layers off, put them back on. Layering is going to be your friend. It's your best friend in these sort of hot, extreme cold weather scenarios that we're laying out here. Neckwear, I have a wool gaiter. It's in a Hudson Bay pattern. Now this was given to me as a gift, so there's no real price on it. If you were looking to do some sort of similar option, Goodwill has 100% wool scarves, and they have a ton of them usually. Would work just the same. I just like this one a lot. But it's nice when you have it enclosed. You can wrap it around your head, wear it over your mouth, over your nose. At least for me, wrap my hair in it to add some extra warmth. Underneath of that, I'll usually have some sort of synthetic gaiter, like these two that were like $3 at my local hardware store. I usually wear one at a time, and whenever I'm done wearing one, I just tie it off to my belt to let it dry, wear the other, so I'm not breathing vapor into my wool gaiter all the time and making it wet. Not that it would get cold, it's just more of a comfortability, a hygiene, sanitation thing. So these cost me like $3. This at Goodwill, if you were getting like a scarf, would probably be around $5. So there's an $11 investment in your neckwear system. Lastly, a simple 100% wool army watch cap. This is the black. They make them in a green as well. They're thick, they're heavy. Again, 100% wool. Nothing too special about them. It's just a beanie. For me, I usually don't wear anything thicker than that because I have so much hair that my head is naturally very warm as it is. And I can usually go without a hat right up until about 0. So yeah, this just amplifies that. I stuff my hair inside of it, makes a real nice hat for my head. So I guess you consider my hair part of my system, as well as these beanies. Make sure they're 100% wool. They do sell some knockoffs, so go to your surplus, get the tag, check the tag, and also don't wash these, because if you do, they will shrink and it's going to be almost impossible to wear it again. So don't wash these, just dunk it in a bucket of water, leave it out in the sun to dry. That was about $10, by the way. So there's, $45 for our head and our extremities. This system was probably about $150, and the boots anywhere from $150 to $180 depending on where you go. So you got around $340, $350 invested, which sounds like a lot, but when you consider A, the amount of clothes that you just bought, and 2, most name brand winter jackets can cost $300. So you're covering all your bases, from your thermals to your socks to your 6 upper layers, 3 bottom layers, boots, 3 pairs of gloves, neckwear, and a hat for an extremely reasonable cost, in my opinion. And that's the thing here. Again, it's budget friendly. It does not necessarily mean cheap. It means high quality gear at a reasonable price that you can have, that has multi-functionality, which is what I have here. So to break it down one last time, in case it wasn't clear, I like to have a thin base layer, several progressing in thickness, several over top layers of the base layer, so like a mid layer, I guess you could call it, and then one, and those are all going to be wool, and then one over the top, usually a waxed or an oil canvas layer to prevent damage, to prevent water, and to prevent wind. And again, when it gets 55, 40, 30 below 0 here, usually wind involved, so that's key for me. The boots, not a whole complicated system there. They're just the best boots you can buy, so I just usually get those. And yeah, that is honestly about it. I appreciate you sticking through the video. I really hoped that this system is something you can take and you can apply and you can manipulate to your advantage, given your financial, physical, and environmental situation. Thanks again for watching. Mario with Blue Oak Bushcraft. Follow me on Instagram, same name. If you don't mind dropping a comment, I really appreciate those. Give this video a thumbs up. check out some of my other videos if you're interested, and subscribe for more in the future. And as always, have a fantastic day.